Whew, I'm a dinosaur. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the prehistoric era of Circus. My name is Tristan Sartoris, and actually, fun fact real quick, people used to always tell me that Sartoris sounded like a dinosaur. Every time growing up through elementary school, they say, hey, what's your last name, Sartoris? What is that, some sort of dinosaur? Quick side note, there you go, 30 seconds in, I'm already dropping little informational nuggets. But yeah, my name is Tristan Sartoris, Rex, and I'm happy to have you guys here with me today. Let's just address the freaking elephant, the prehistoric, Jurassic era elephant-sized hat in the room. Listen, I got a dinosaur hat on. How freaking cool is that, dude? I feel cool. I feel silly. I feel at home. I feel really in my own element here. So this was a hat from my grandmother who had recently passed away, and I wanted to wear it today to honor her. And I don't know why she had it, but I like to think that maybe she was just a closeted, Jurassic era fan. She never really talked about it, but she had it nonetheless, and I would wear it a few times. And to be honest, we don't even know what it is. We had debates. She thought maybe it was an alligator. I heard lizard sometimes. I like to think dinosaur, but some person actually said they thought it was like a toad with a white mustache. Like, hello, Senor Toad. I want to go catch fly. Yeah, so we don't really know what it is, but I'm happy to wear it regardless because we were looking through stuff for like keepsakes and things we want to have to remember her by, and this one really made me think of my grandma because it was always there, and grandmama loved to make sure that her grandchildren had warm heads. So what makes me think about my grandma more than having her on my head, literally. So it makes me feel good. It makes me feel warm. So I love it. Mwah. Love you, Grandma. And I'm just going to be here remembering and rocking this hat forever. But also it's a comboed with the new Champion hoodie, fresh to death, and it's white, which coincidentally, I didn't even think about this until just now. This is also from my other grandma. So I guess I'm just repping and representing the relatives today. Could have been bars. Yeah, so I got this for Christmas, and it's clean. It's white. Oh, it's so nice, so it will not be in about an hour or two. Because that's just how it is, dude. I can't have clean, nice, fresh, white things. That's just not who I am, right? I'm the guy who wears a dinosaur hat. And, yeah, so I appreciate my relatives and my grandmas and just, really dressing me up today here for the podcast and ready to represent. But, yeah, so it's like, it kind of balances out. Like, this is just freaking classy, freaking fresh mofo, right? And then we got the silly goose up top. And they just balance each other out. But maybe this is kind of a freaking fresh to death mofo as well. So maybe I'm freaking double superior than I even thought before. I don't know how fashion works, but I know that I represent and I do what I do. Horde, H-O-R-D, horde. Yeah, so I'm happy to be here with you guys, and let's get right into it because it is episode 50. 50. That's probably backwards for you, or is it like that? I don't know. My camera's mirrored, and I don't know if it's mirrored for you or not. But guys, it's episode freaking 50.
At the kick, stretch, and kick. I'm 50.
50 episodes, we ain't never missed a week, Jack. I don't know how we've done it. I'm proud of us. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of me. So it's been a long journey. We're coming up on our 1-year anniversary in 3 weeks. And you know what? 50 was such a freaking beautiful big number to fall on for the year that I thought about, you know what? Hey, I haven't missed a week. I've been on my game. I've been a freaking on-time student every single time. My attendance has been perfect. But I thought about just skipping the last 3 weeks so I could have the year right on the 50 dot. But I can't do that, guys. Not with this dinosaur hat on. Not with the Champion hoodie. Not looking this fresh. Not looking this classy, dude. I couldn't do that, so I had to show up. Had to represent. So yeah, we're here, episode 50, guys. I'm thankful for the long ride that we have had so far and ready to keep on going. So yeah, 5-0, guys. 5-0. What else has been going on, dude? What else is going on? Oh, yeah. So I've just doing a couple practice podcasts because I do love the podcast so much. Speaking of 50, I'm like trying to warm up and get comfortable, because I only get to do this once a week, right? It's hard to really make sure that you are in your element, into your zone, when it's a week spaced out. I got no practice, so sometimes I like to get into the booth, halfway bi-weekly and just spit some facts, spit some stuff, and you'll never see those because, like I said, your boy never misses a week of the podcast. They're like kind of backup episodes, and they're there, but you will never hear them, and you probably shouldn't, even if you wanted to, because that's where I just speak. I speak into the void, and it makes me feel like I'm talking to you guys, but also it's not, something you really want to hear, because like on the last episode, I just spoke about diarrhea for about 25 minutes straight, dude. So it's it's not something that you really want to hear completely. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. But that's just what it was, because, dude, I've been having the bowel movement. It's a bowel movement, guys. I don't know what happened, but I mean, probably because it was my fault. Like, since Super Bowl Sunday rolled around, and your boy gets pretty hungry in the big moments, in the big feast. I was eating up big. I was eating good. Freaking onion rings, mashed potatoes, BLTs, ice cream eclairs, goldfish, Lunchables, like half a gallon, maybe a full gallon of milk. I don't even know what I had after that. When you stop counting, and I was just eating everything I could, like I was in the Ferrari. So yeah, I woke up in the morning, dude, and I had the runs. I mean, I would say it's even more than the runs, dude. It was the freaking sprint. It was whatever dinosaur's the fastest. Look, I don't know where my bowels are sprinting to, but they are going to find the finish line as fast as freaking possible. Yeah, so that's all I'm going to say about that. Listen, I know it's just a minute. You probably didn't sign up for that, and you're like, why is this happening? Why is he talking about this? Listen, I talked about 25 minutes of it, and I've been talking to a lot of people about it. So I've gotten to the point where I'm very comfortable and unashamed, and I'm not embarrassed of it. But I have to remember that you are not, a willing participant in this conversation. So feel free to skip ahead at any point. But yeah, dude. Speaking of that, dude, I went to the doctor today, right? Because you went to go check up, dude. It's been like freaking 4 or 5 days of diarrhea. Like I said, unashamed. I'm ready to talk about it. It's part of me. When you get to a doctor visit, I was thinking about this because Roland was like, is this going to be weird? Because, I mean, how often are you just talking to a complete stranger about your bowels? For me, apparently, as I'm doing it right now, pretty frequently. So, yeah, I rolled up into the doctor's office like, man, is this going to be weird? And I thought, right there, no, I'm not going to let it be weird. I'm not going to let it be odd. I'm going to sit down in the chair and I'm going to say, yo, I got the runs. I got diarrhea, okay? I'm making splashes. I'm making freaking depth charges. I'm making that brown algae. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not proud of it, but listen, that's what's going on. You tell me what to do, doc, and I'm ready. And we just we came together and we finished a crossword. No, I said that was the part where I stopped talking, brain trails off. Mr. Fish. Yeah, we came up with a solution that more fiber, apparently. So she said get some more fiber. Now, I'm not a doctor, so I'm not willing to debate this and say that more fiber might mean just more. But yeah, that's the plan. We'll see how it goes forward, dude. But like I said, I'm unashamed. I'll talk about this with you guys all day long if you want, but I won't. I will say though, dude, interesting thought of the week. I just don't have my file. I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm just a fool in a dinosaur hat, guys. Forgive me. Interesting thought, dude. If at any point you are recommending fiber to someone with diarrhea, here, hold on. Skip the details in the plot. These are my interesting thoughts. Dude, listen. If someone has diarrhea, let's hypothetically, me or someone else, I don't know if I have it. It's a comedy podcast. Who's to say any of this is real? It is. But anyways. Yeah, what was I saying? If you're recommending fiber to someone with diarrhea, I feel like it should be law that you should also have to recommend or, sell or give out, I think a proper amount of gas masks to the surrounding relatives of the household. I think that's pretty fair because how many times I'm just ripping it in the bathroom when people walk out and they're like, hey, feeling any better? Like, no, not yet. Like, I know. Go get some rest. So it's pretty bad, and I feel bad for the family, but that just is what it is, guys. But anyways, this is I hope this isn't a crappy podcast, but we put the puns intended where they intend to be. What else has been going on, dude? What else has been going on? I have recently got a new pillow, dude, and you're like, why is that exciting? Why is that cool? Because this is the stiffest freaking pillow I've ever had, and I still don't know if it's a good or bad thing. It was just a couple days ago, and it's yet to get enough use out of it. But man, I tell you what, some people like stiff mattresses, some people like the stiff pillows, some people probably like stiff blankets. I don't know, and I don't know if we're just like going back into the, a different era and age where things just weren't as comfortable. But it's just hard to tell. But I feel like it can be comfortable, but also it feels like I could hurt someone with this. I could hurt me with this if I sleep on this wrong, which would be very ironic if you got back problems from this freaking upgraded sleeping gear, or if I hurt someone with a pillow, which I would never want to do, and I would never want to hurt myself. But it's a brick, guys. It's a brick. I don't know when they started making these pillows so hard and so condensed, but I like, you could throw it through a window, guys. You could throw it through a window, and if you sleep on it wrong, your neck will be on the side like that. Boom, boom, boom. Man, that used to happen to me too a lot of times, and people would steal my pillows, right? We had a big family, and people like to, steal pillows in the middle of the night too. It's just like, I'm sleeping, I've established myself in my dream realm, like I'm in my REM 3 cycle, and I've got my 2 or 3 pillows, right? I'm comfortable, I'm cozy, and for whatever reason, the brothers mostly, I don't think my mom had ever come by and steal some pillows, but the brothers specifically, they were just, we were pillow capers. We stole, and we had no consideration for other people's well-being in the middle of the night. So I would wake up multiple times like this. I was like, what the frick? And they would steal my pillows, and sometimes I wouldn't wake up from it, but I'd wake up in the morning with no pillows, and my neck would be like this. I'm like, what's going on? Why can't I, And I remember missing football practice like that all the time. They're like, what happened? I'm like, yeah, I think it happened multiple times. And I was like, someone stole my pillows. And the guy's like, hey, what did you say? Come over here. You say someone stole your pillows? Coach. And it just became this one big thing where it's just like, I was the kid who, like, either I was faking it, or like they just didn't know who my family was or what was going on, but they were like, hey, this is stiff neck Tristan, right? Okay, he can't have these pillows. He doesn't have the pillows. He doesn't want the pillows. His family wants the pillows more than he does, and he sleeps on them and they're gone. Yeah, but speaking of football, dude, I'm kind of just letting my brain ramble. Because I've just been doing these practice podcasts, you can tell I'm kind of more loosey-goosey. I'm just letting it fly. What was I saying? Oh yeah, dude, speaking of football and Sartoris, right? They're like, hey, it's a dinosaur. Except for the football coaches who could never pronounce my last name, impossibly, right? And you think it's a pretty fair, like it's white, it's American, it's just straight up, dude. There's no accents like Andre or Celeste or a bunch of I's and O's and U's and other different combinations that people have a hard time reading. Sar, S-A-R, T-O-R, Tor, is. It's a straight up sounded out kind of last name. But for every single football coach I ever had, no one could say Sartoris. And they'd ask me too. And they considered, like, I don't want to say it wrong. How do you say your last name, boy? And I would say, well, sir, it's Sartoris. And they would go, all right, Sartorius. I'm like, huh? Sartoris. And for the rest of my football career, like, hey, Sartorius, Sartorius. I'm like, what is going on here? And my name is written on the back of my jersey. So it's not like they heard it one time and just forgot about it. These people, I don't know what there was, but and maybe it's because they were just trying to dig at me because I was always skipping practice with a freaking crooked neck, but they pronounced everyone else's last name, and they had people had these crazy German and Dutch and French last names, and I was like, what is that? They're like, I don't know any freaking whatever. I don't have an example. Those are my comedic chops. I just gesture. But you feel it in the blank if you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, they could pronounce everything, dude, and except for that, they had all the words but Sartoris. So I don't know, maybe it is, maybe it's not. I've never actually asked anyone outside of my family if they have a problem or struggle trying to read my last name. But yeah, so maybe when I come on here, I'm like, hey, welcome to Full Circus. My name is Tristan Sartoris. People are like, wait, what did he say? That's not how you pronounce that. Maybe I'm pronouncing my own last name wrong. I have no idea. It could be Sartorius. Sneaky. Sartorius. But yeah, I have no clue. But those are football coaches for you. But I was like, hey, sir, it's Sartoris, actually. He was like, what? I can't hear you with your neck down there. I was like, someone stole my pillows. Another Sartorius member stole your pillows? What else has been going on, dude? What else has been going on? I don't want to talk about that. Diarrhea. Yeah, I got to do. I talked about the car. I got a new car. Not a new one other than the one I'd already brought up, but we had fixed it and the transaction was full and everything's repaired. However, I recently just started cleaning this car out. And you forget just how dirty people can be, like actually. So I was cleaning out this car, and you think it's just a regular, people are just dirty in general, but how bad could it be, really? There's just cigarette butts all over the place. You're like, hey, it's fine. People smoke. There's a bunch of magazines and trash and clothes and old shoes and smells and these like rotten drinks. And you're like, okay, well now we're approaching, some real gross factors. But these people wasted so much food. Okay, I was vacuuming through these back seats, and I would find a couple of fries. I'm like, what the? No, I didn't. But I would find these fries like, wow, how did you lose a whole freaking small fry? I find more. I'm like, maybe it was a medium. Going through the cracks, it was a freaking large fry, and I start digging it up. So I'm like, there's got to be more down here. So I scoop it up. I'm finding freaking chicken nuggets, half a burger, more and more, and to the point I found like 2 or 3 Happy Meals just collectively shoved into these cushions. So I'm just digging. I'm digging through everything. I'm finding, random pieces of steak. I found a BLT on the side, and then I found freaking bacon underneath the brake pedal. How? There was just people left over bacon, and it's not even that I'm upset that it's dirty. I'm just so freaking confused that it's even possible to waste that much food. I'm getting a message right now because on my podcast setup, I received my phone text, and what was I talking about? The car. So if you hear that bing, bing, it was the salespeople that are trying to check in on me, and they did that in the freaking practice podcast too. They might just have bad timing. Speaking of the sale thing, not a ton of excitement's going on there. We should be going out in the field soon, and maybe we'll have some fun stories. I don't know. Like I said, I don't really want to talk about the work stuff a lot because it's very rarely exciting. People are like, well, I crunched all the numbers, I pushed these papers, and things were super awesome today at work. But anyway, no, it's not that interesting. It's not. They're just really having me recite these door approaches over and over. They'll call me just out of the blue, 2 or 3 times, sometimes on a day, and it's like, hey, let's go over this role play. I was like, I got the lines, guys. I got the lines. Okay, I'm an actor. I'm an artist. It's my job to know the lines, and I know when I start doing lines in a funny voice or an accent that I really got it down pat. Like I'm doing this sales pitch, and I'll start busting out an Australian accent while I'm doing it because I'm just having fun, and I don't really need to know the script is hard in the copy because I've got it in my memory. Or I'll just be messing around, and next time he calls, I'm probably just going to do like a pirate accent. Like, here, I'll do the whole thing. But just to make it more exciting for you, I'll do the pirate accent right now. We'll just improvise it. So, this is going to hurt my throat. Harg! So sorry it took me so long to sail out here. My name is Scurvy McGillicuddy, your local ship coordinator. So the good news is, we got the cord you sent in. The great news, however, is that I am licensed by all of the 7 seas to make sure you get everything you deserve, and you've been approved for all the ocean's programs you hear. So, if you'd like to save some booty, let's step in, and on my peg leg and my hook, I will save you all the doubloons that you are entitled to. So that's basically how the door approaches go, but not like that. So I keep doing this thing over and over and over again, and they, it's good on them. I'm dogging them, but not really, because they're just trying to make sure people are properly equipped and safe and readily. I've said it too many times now. It sounds weird. Readily. They're ready for the field. They're readily handled. Frick! Yeah! Anyways, guys, this is episode 50. If you've learned anything through this time, is that I will 1, never learn how to speak. 2, never slow my cadence down. And 3, always trail off into something else, something different. And 4, I'm unafraid to talk about my bowels. That's how it is, dude. It's just... It's bad. It's bad, and it's horrible, and hopefully I survive. Yeah, I should survive, guys. I know I mentioned the doctor, and maybe you guys are worrying about me. Maybe you guys just really say, please shut up. But it's problem. I'll survive. Okay, if you're like, hey, he's going to the doctor, hope he's okay. Don't worry, I will be. All right, it's not gonna be one of those things where they just show up and I'm dead, and they're like, well, what happened here? And they're like, well, it looks like he was a victim of bowel play. Yeah.
Your memory.
Yeah!
Get it? I said bowel play, dude. Bowel play. It's a pun. Yeah, so that's what's been going on with my week. I think I talked about everything. Interesting thoughts. I've talked about my bowels. I've talked about sleep. I've been getting a lot of sleep. I've been getting a lot of thoughts in. And unfortunately, dude, my interesting thoughts, man. Sometimes I always think about my interesting thoughts, and I think, man, I think about my interesting thoughts. How freaking meta and deep and layerful is that? I get in there, I'm like, man, I'm start thinking about what my interesting thoughts are going to be, and if I think that they're not thoughtful enough, should I even be thinking them? And then we don't know what happens after that. But yeah, because I've had a couple of them, I'm like, man, this has to be some sort of deep, revelation or realization or, some existential pondering I'm doing over here. But sometimes, dude, it's just that I feel like the family should have a gas mask, or it's because I'm talking about people having hands or childish, interesting thoughts. Like, a lot of interesting thoughts I had when I was a kid just, was not understanding the world. And, I don't understand the world now, but it's always just questioning things, man. It's okay to question things. Like when I was a kid. Dude, double interesting thought. Let's go, dude. I'm going to bring one to you right now. When I was a kid, I was so baffled and confused by banks. I didn't understand it because I was like, so we go, because you're always riding with your mom to go to these errands and stuff. And we stop by the bank, and I'm like, so we put the money in the bank, and then, well, nothing. They just hold the money. Well, but why do we give them the money? Like, what is the purpose? What is the meaning of the bank? It's like, well, is it one of those things where, like, we had like the savings account or whatever, like, oh, when you're freaking 18, it's gonna grow by $500 eventually. And like, wow, that's crazy. Like, is it one of those? Like, no, they just hold the money. And I was like, well, how, why, like, what, who, how did they trick these people to start holding on to our money? And, I get it now. It's much safer, and there's a whole other bank story, but we're not going to get into that now. But as a kid, dude, I was so baffled by banks. I was like, how in the world, and how did they trick you guys to keeping their money? It's like, okay, so we're the bank. Well, basically what we're going to do, this is how I interpreted them as a kid, is these banks, these freaking big guys with a white mustache, the big toad. Well, so basically, we would like to keep your money. And then people would be like, wait, why? And like, well, to keep it safe, of course. I'm like, but I think I could keep my own money quite safe, if I do say so myself. And people can just always access your credit card, and then, there's different fraud protections. But dude, everything's so deep. Don't take it. Dude, why do I sometimes I get into things and I start breaking down with logic because I'm bringing in my adult mind, my thing that's coming in now, but I'm trying to present to you a childish, interesting thought, and everything's collapsing and falling apart. It's probably the bowels, dude. It's probably the bowels. But anyways, I'm so grateful and thankful to having you guys here on this episode 50. We're going to close it right now because I do have to go to the bathroom. I hope you got something out of this sometimes, and maybe you appreciate it. And, I love you, Grandma. I'm sorry that the one episode that I wear this stuff on, I just only talked about, potty jokes and potty humor and the runs. But that's what it is, dude. Sometimes that's on the podcast. You sign up. Sometimes you go 50 episodes and you still don't structure everything. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for the podcast. 50 episodes in! I haven't learned how to close it. This is what I'm going to do from now on. I'm only going to say bye.